They say when things are going good, it only gets better. But they also say when things are going bad, sometimes it only gets worse. And for Alabama, that's exactly what we're seeing. For the longest, that's how it seems. When you're at the top and it seems like things can't get any better, it somehow manages to get better. On the other side of things, when you're at the bottom and you're like, okay, there's no way it can get worse, it somehow finds a way to get worse. We're kind of seeing that unfold with Alabama right now, and over the past couple of days, there's been a lot of things that haven't gone in their favor. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and rumors in general of people trying to state the fact that Alabama could possibly be falling off and this might be the beginning of the end to the dynasty. You're entitled to your own opinion, but come on now, we see this narrative every single season Alabama doesn't win the championship. I honestly don't think the people that say it really believe Alabama's going to fall off. What I think it is, people are more of wanting Alabama to fall off and they're tired of them. I also really hate to label it as things are getting worse, but a lot of people are running away with that. We're going to talk all about it. So if you're new to this channel and you like football content and you're not subscribed, I appreciate it. Join our family, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, do all that nice stuff. And now without further ado, let's get into it. I'm just going to jump straight into it. As soon as the game was over, and I mean only a day after, let me repeat that, 5 Alabama players entered the transfer portal. Is it a big deal? I don't know, I'll talk about it in just a second, but I'll name you off the 5. Tight end Jahleel Billingsley, linebacker Drew Sanders, Paul Tyson, King Mukawuka, offensive lineman Tommy Brown. King Mukawuka and offensive lineman Tommy Brown, never heard of them. The other 3 players, they were somewhat notable ones. I'm almost 100% sure Jahleel Billingsley was first team All-SEC going into the season, and the letdown he had this year as an Alabama fan, it was bad, and I'll leave it at that. Nobody really knows what went on, but apparently, according to sources, he didn't show up to a couple of practices and he wasn't working hard. So instead of Billingsley working hard and possibly getting his name up the draft board so maybe next year he could be a first or second round pick, he didn't work hard. And Nick Saban said, you know what? I don't need you. And what did he do? He got a defensive player, Cameron Latu, and said, all right, you're going to play tight end. And he was the star player, or not the star player, but the star tight end for Alabama. I was real happy with the way Latu played this season. He's a young guy. Is he the fastest tight end? No. Is he the biggest? No. But here's what I love about him. He gave it his all, and he gave it 100%. When I watched Jahleel Billingsley play, I just didn't like his attitude. It never looked like he was trying or running full speed, and if the play wasn't ran for him, he didn't block that good, and he was also dropping passes here and there. If you're an Alabama fan, let me know your thoughts on Billingsley. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I didn't like what I saw out of him this year. Regardless, Billingsley would have played next year. I mean, he was a 4-star recruit. I don't care if you have all the talent in the world. Like Nick Saban says, if you're not going to work hard and do right by the team and program, we don't want you on the team. Period. The end. As harsh as it is to say, Billingsley, I'm wishing you the best of luck, but you can go kick rocks. I don't really care. The other player that transferred, I think is the best one that transferred, Drew Sanders, is a 5-star recruit, and he was starting this year up until he got hurt. Really unfortunate he's leaving. I've seen some rumors he may be going to Texas, wishing him the best of luck. And last but not least, quarterback Paul Tyson, he wasn't going to play, not really a big deal whatsoever. I see a lot of Alabama fans freaking out over this, saying, oh my gosh, we've already had 5 players enter the transfer portal and it's been 1 day after the game. Here's my comfort message to you. Calm down, this is normal, and it happens every year with Nick Saban. It's simply players who know they're not going to play. They're just leaving to go find somewhere else. The players that Alabama have coming in from the transfer portal, 1, a 5-star in Eli Ricks, and 2, Jahmyr Gibbs, who's going to be the starting running back next year. It definitely makes up for losing these guys and possibly some more in the future. When it's all said and done, I would predict and I would expect around maybe 8, 9, or 10 players transfer out of the program. One thing to mention too, I haven't even brought this up, but just because they enter the transfer portal, that doesn't mean they're officially gone. They can always come back, but normally if a player enters the portal, they're not coming back. To sum up what I just said, I honestly mean this in the most respectful way possible. Losing all 5 of these players means absolutely nothing to Alabama and Nick Saban. But however, what we're about to get into is a major factor and what you should really be worried about. Alabama's defensive back coach, Jay Valet, has left the program, and I believe, yes, he is going to Oklahoma. The reason I said believe, I'm not 100% sure. that's what he's expected to do. I don't know if it's been officially announced, but more than likely that's what's going to happen. Is it the biggest deal in the world? No, but I'll leave you at this. It doesn't help Alabama when you lose your defensive back coach. The reason Nick Saban is Nick Saban, he knows how to replace not only recruits and players, but coaches as well, and that's why he's the greatest of all time. We've seen it time after time again. Alabama and Nick Saban, they'll lose an offensive coordinator, defensive coach. Everybody's like, oh crap, what are they going to do? Then they replace them, and they never skip a beat. Alabama is basically the rehab center for coaches that have failed at their previous job. Nick Saban is arguably one of the greatest mentors, not just in college football history, but sporting history. I'm not going to sit up here and praise Nick Saban much longer. You know how good he is. Last but not least, let's talk about I'd say the key factor in all of this. Over the past 4, 5, 6 years, Alabama at all times has had not only one, but 2 first-round wide receivers on the field throughout the entire game. And that's so surreal to think about, but it's true. And after this season, John Mechie and Jameson Williams are more than likely going to depart to the NFL, so we're going to lose 2 more first-round wide receivers. Like I was saying, over the past 4 to 5, 6 years, whenever we lose 2, we're like, oh, no big deal. Next guy up, and we knew we had good backups behind them. For example, Jalen Waddle, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, Jameson Williams, John Mechie, and the list goes on and on. But now, when Jameson Williams goes to the NFL and John Mechie joins him, Alabama's wide receiver corps, it's not looking that good. Georgia's defense as a unit is outstanding, but their secondary is, I wouldn't say average, they're slightly above average. And what their secondary did to our younger wide receivers wasn't embarrassing, but it was concerning. The only guy coming back where I would say, okay, he's good and I'm comfortable with him is Slay Bolden. Outside of him, we don't have nobody. And by nobody, I'm talking about an established wide receiver. And I love Slay Bolden. He's a good slot guy and he's a good secure pass catcher. But I mean, he's not going to blow past defenses. What's made Alabama so explosive in the past 5 years is, yes, the quarterback play has been fantastic, but we've always had that one speedy wide receiver that can take the top off of the defenses. Next year, we won't have that. The projecting starting wide receivers right now is looking like Slay Bolden, Ja'Cory Brooks, Ajayi Hall, and Trayshawn Holden or JoJo Earl. I'm just going to be honest. I think in 2 or 3 years, yeah, they're going to be good. But what I saw 2 nights ago, I didn't like it. I don't know what it was. They were getting bullied on offense. They were getting pushed around. They were dropping passes left and right, and there were so many red flags. I do want to pump the brakes a little and give them some time. They were young, but here's where I kind of disagree with my own self. When Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley, when all of them were young, you kind of looked at it and was like, okay, they're going to be great whenever they're a junior or senior or a sophomore. With these guys, I didn't think that. There's not another word to describe it. It's just concerning. Ajayi Hall dropped some passes. Cameron Latu, as great as he was, he dropped some passes. JoJo Earl, he was returning punts, but he fumbled a punt. And even Slay Bolden, he fumbled a punt. And when I'm talking about JoJo Earl fumbling a punt, it was like 2 or 3 games ago. Actually, I think it was against Cincinnati, and that's why he no longer returns punts. And for those of you saying, oh, Matt, these guys, Ajayi Hall, Ja'Cory Brooks, they were 4- and 5-star recruits. Okay, that's great, but when you're in college, none of that matters. And if you don't believe me, Jahlil Billingsley was a 4-star recruit, and he got his job stolen by a defensive player. Let that sink in. There is a bright side to it, and a huge bright side. Like I said, you got a 5-star Eli Ricks coming in and a 5-star Jahmyr Gibbs. You also got your Heisman Trophy winning quarterback coming back, and the best player in the country, in my opinion, Will Anderson, is coming back on defense. One thing that hurt Alabama, not just in the championship, all throughout the season, they was inexperienced. They had a lot of young guys playing on the field. This 2021 Alabama team was one of Nick Saban's youngest of all time. No Alabama fan's going to tell you it's okay not to win a championship, but I'm going to tell you the truth right now. I thought it was incredible for this team just to make it to the game. When you really sit back and look at it, and if you're an Alabama fan, you know what I'm talking about. This team had no business being in that game. I don't care if they had Will Anderson and Bryce Young. As an entire unit and team, they weren't that good. And I really believe you saw that when Jameson Williams left the game. Outside of Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Jameson Williams, and John Mechie, and maybe Christian Harris, a couple more defensive players, they're not that good. We can take it a step farther. What if you take Bryce Young off of this team? I've said it all year long. Alabama would be 8-4 if Bryce Young wasn't playing quarterback. If you're an Alabama fan, calm down. It's a part of the process. And next year, it's going to be the revenge tour. This team is going to have a bitter taste in their mouth, and they're going to come out looking for blood. That's pretty much everything I wanted to touch on. Of course, whenever a team of Alabama's caliber loses in a championship, a lot of people are going to freak out. It is what it is. It happens every year. Let me know your thoughts down below. But with that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, hey, done. Join the family, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.